Hey, Bat Family. We are back again with another review. How you doing, Mark?
I'm great, Scott.
This is crazy. We got another game to review. It happens to be The Tale of Tales from Hobby World. This one was created by Denis Sendezev, and the art was done by Nikita Orlov.
And this was provided to us by Hobby World.
Yeah, so unless you want to say something else about this, let's get into this. So, Tales of Tales is a tile placement, almost like a little bit like a physical flip and write in a sense, where you are playing explorers that are dog-esque, and you are exploring a dungeon as a hero, trying to get treasure and defeat monsters and make yourself better, and also kind of make things harder for the other explorers in your group. I think I sound that says about right, correct?
Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward gameplay loop.
It's rather interesting. So basically, everybody's going to pick one of 6 different creatures. They are dog themed. The names are cute. Their classes are each different. You have a combination of 2 different colors, either you're red and green or you're red or yellow and green. It's that type of split, and that kind of lets you know what type of fighter, what type of explorer you are, because, like both Rogue the Dog
So funny.
and Joan of Bark are both red-green creatures, but Rogue has 2 in the ranged attack and only 1 melee, where Joan has 2 melee and 1 ranged. So it's very interesting. So it's like you've got ranged, you've got melee, you've got magic. Those are your 3 types, and then your other symbol is you got some defense, and everybody's got the same amount of defense. So essentially what you're doing is it's a pile of tiles, and you flip them over and you orient them so that doors match doors, and you keep going until you decide, I want to leave. And you move your character through. You have little paw tokens and be like, I'm fighting this monster, I'm fighting this monster, I'm taking this treasure, and now I'm out. And that's the simplistic way of saying this game, and we'll get into a little bit more of the gameplay and how we feel about it later on. So, Mark, you taught this one, so why don't you start us off with the teach?
Sure. So the teach itself is very straightforward because, like you said, your turn is explore a tile, escape out of the dungeon, or pass. And boy, let's really hope you don't have to pass, because you only have 3 runs at the dungeon, and if you have to burn 1 or more of them getting nothing, you'll lose. 100%.
Yeah, straight up, you're going to lose.
The rulebook is not great, unfortunately. There are some translation things that I think is what happened, but there are a couple moments in the rules where you look at it and you go, wait, hang on, what do I do here? In the setup, there's a segment where if you don't realize it at first, it says take 2 quests, give them to each player, and then put the rest of the quests in the box. And then it says, and then everybody picks one and puts the other card they didn't take face up on the table as a public objective. It's a neat idea, but it took me a couple times to realize what those couple sentences were saying, because at first you think, put the quests away, put the quests out on the table. Wait, hang on, huh? There's also one massive rule that was omitted, and there's just not a lot of content out about the game, and so I couldn't find a clear answer of how you actually end up using your icons when you're attacking things. We ended up ruling the way that it was saying for the defensive icons of you have each one as a 1 use per run, but technically in the rules it doesn't say that, and you could just have all of your icons for every fight, which means you're just making it through every fight.
Right.
It's a mixed bag, unfortunately. Even the paw print thing, I'm pretty sure that we did that right, but it's one of those where you put it on something you're taking. I don't think you have to put one on every room you go through, but there's some squishiness in the rules. I think the actual teach, once I had at least what I thought the rules were going to be together, it was a straightforward teach, but like I said, the rule book was weird. It wasn't the best, and then it just has those omissions that really change the tempo of the game.
Yeah, very much so. On the actual learning side, like what we thought was very easy at first, and then of course we have the rules question of like, okay, yeah, does this mean, like, it felt very much like other games that I've played where I'm like, okay, once I use this icon, it is done. And so once we decided that was what they meant to say and we ran with it, it worked. Mm-hmm. So I mean, yeah, I guess, I mean, the way we came up with it was good.
Straightforward.
we went with simple, we did the KISS method because it made the most sense for us. Because it's like, this feels like it's trying to do this other game that we've played similar styles to. So like, let's go with that route and see how well it works.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think people can kind of already tell how we're kind of feeling about this one.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Alrighty, going into some of our favorite things in games, which is art, iconography, and components. I think I'm going to start us off. Let's go bottom to top. Let's start with the components. We don't normally do it this way because I think we're going to talk a lot about the art.
Well, I think that's very fair.
So your components are thin, glossy. So they're not even really tiles. They're thin, glossy cards, but they're equal size. It's a nice size.
It's one of those square cards that you've seen used a bunch of different times.
Yeah.
And if you've played Far Away, they're essentially the same size as that. If you got those square card sleeves, you throw them in, they're going to be fine.
You've got a nice solid deck of those. And then everybody has 7 paw prints in their color because there is 6 characters. So you've got 7 paw prints, and those are of a thicker chipboard, essentially.
I was a little concerned punching them out of the box that I was bending them.
Yeah, they're a little thin.
Yeah.
For my standards. There's also a good boy or good girl little dog tag token, and then there's 3 food bowl tokens that you use, and that's how you indicate how many rounds you've got.
The good boy, good girl thing, I think was a funny touch, and I like that they did that.
Yeah, I think that's really sweet. I like those portions. Your character card, these are okay.
Yeah.
It's of the same material.
They're probably slightly thicker than the cards, but, they at least try to give you some thematic attachment of the one side being the same art as is on their character side, but it gives you a small backstory.
Yeah, it gives you a nice little backstory, yeah.
I mean, Jonah Bark is just hilarious, and she's purple, so of course I played her.
Right. Yeah, I didn't play the blue one this time. I know, I chose the mage. Iconography. Iconography is pretty solid, in all honesty. Like, if you sit there like, I know what I need when I hit this. So when you draw a room tile, which I didn't state. So the room tiles also have icons on there. One, there's the monster that sits in the center of the room, or the portal, or the key, or the treasure chest. But in there, you look to the left of the monster. On the far left, there is a symbol of what you're going to get if you defeat the monster. Immediately to its right is what you need to defeat the monster. And if you don't defeat the monster, if you decide to go into this room and can't defeat the monster, how much damage you take. And if there's any rewards, it sits at the top of the card. So, I mean, that stuff is all nice and clear.
Also the side if you're getting a upgrade for stat. But,
correct. That's the leftover thing. That's your increase.
Yeah, it's all very serviceable. You know what you're looking at. And because the cards themselves are laid out of, potentially a bright colored strip for the reward that you may get, it's beigey gray of a room layout on a beigey card. Like, there's enough contrast there that you can tell where the exits are, and you know what they're going after. Yeah. And frankly, it doesn't need to be anything more than what it is.
No, because it basically feels like some of those programs that I used when I make my maps on
like Don John and stuff.
Yeah, Don John and that type of stuff where you're like, okay, this is just a stamp, and that's what they did, and then they put the creature on top of it.
Yeah.
So I think those are great.
It works very well. Like, you see the swords, you understand. If you don't have color vision issues, you can see, it's the red icons. Great. If you do have that, it's the sword, it's the firebolt.
Yep.
Whatever.
It's a shield. Now we get to the art.
Why are they centaurs, Scott?
I don't know why they're dog tars.
Why are the dogs centaurs?
They're dog tars. They have, so it is like, folks, they have dog bodies.
It's upsetting.
It's very upsetting.
I'm sorry, continue.
I've played Dungeons and Doggos. Those are so cute. They are regular dogs. So if the artwork was of a regular dog, or if it had a dog that was just standing on 2 normal legs, that'd be great artwork. Or if, like it was just...
They tried to do the, how do you put pants on a llama thing? And they just went for both at once. It is upsetting.
It's very disturbing to sit there and look at their centaurs, y'all, with their dogs.
They're dog centaurs.
They're dog tars.
I don't know why. If you remove those out, because what is confusing about this is everything else in the art is dog themed. So the mimic is a dog house and the skeleton is a dog skeleton. Like, it all ties together well. It just makes no sense why they went this direction, because even the dog skeleton isn't a centaur.
No.
Now, when you look in the gelatinous cat, which is very funny, there is a dog centaur, dissolving inside of it. So there's some funny twists in here. But here's the other thing. I don't know if you noticed, Scott. That box is 8+. This is meant to be a family game.
Yeah, this is very weird for it to be a family game.
Because the characters themselves are very weird, but fine. They're cartoony or whatever. But then the monsters are quite monstrous.
Like, we have a Cerberus. There is a cat's eye, which is a beholder with cat's eyes. The mosquito, which...
I cannot tell you how much time I spent in that rulebook thinking that a word got messed up before I realized it is a mosquito, because it is a key to unlock a chest. Because there are a couple other typos not that far up the page that I'm like, okay, so what did they butcher here? And then I realized what they were doing.
Yeah, instead of a giant spider, it's a gigatick.
Which legitimately made me laugh.
That is funny. It's like they went with humor, but then they did it weird.
Yeah, they went very straightforward, serious fantasy dungeon crawl.
We giggled every time we saw the zombie squirrel. Because, y'all, it looks like it's a very gray with white eyes zombie, but it's a squirrel. Like, I want to like this more.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you looked at me like, I think this is your game. And we weren't even that far into it. I went, no, it is not.
Because on paper, everything about this
is totally me.
Screams. Now, maybe not the fact it's dogs. If it were cats, it would be more you, but still.
But I mean, there's some cat things in here, and I can get by the kookiness. Like the Frisbo. Did you see this?
I did.
It is a crossbow that launches frisbees, y'all. Like, there's some really cute things. And then you sit there and you look at the art, and you're just like, why?
Yeah. It's very confusing because it is not bad art. I think that is what frustrates us, is it's not bad at all. We just wonder why. This is so disconnected.
Because it makes the game confusing.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if they didn't do dog tars, I can't believe I have to keep saying that word. If they didn't do this to the main characters, I think the game would be fine. It throws me off enough. You have to get into, like, more gameplay stuff. But I mean,
looping back around to the components, the big miss in the components that I didn't mention earlier, you don't actually need the player aids for this. Again, the back of the rulebook is well laid out. Here's the icons. Here's the turn structure. Here's everything you need on the back of the rulebook. And frankly, your turn is, generally speaking, flip a card over. Okay, Scott flips a card over. Now I flip a card over. Now Scott does. And now, I'm going to run out now.
Yeah.
But there's no tokens. There's not even a single token to move through, so that way it's easy to say, okay, I'm going this path and I'm going to do this. So it's all, I'm going to go to this room. I'm going to place my paw token down if I'm going to claim it. Now I'm going to move on to this one. I mean, you can tell where you're going, but it's a little frustrating. And then the fact there's nothing to track, I'm going to put a chip over the weapon icons that I've used, anything like that. There's just stuff that has been omitted from the box that, again, you could have tailored to the weird art, and it would have been fun. Like, have little tennis balls be on top of the
if I would have like little
something.
if I would have little tennis balls, I'm like, okay, cool. I went through this monster. It took up 2 of my magic. Great. Okay, this monster took the 3rd magic and my 1 ranged attack that I got. So that means all my attacks are done. So if I run into a monster, I can't attack anymore. I'm going to just take damage. And then I can use my little tennis balls to go against my shields.
Yeah.
Like, there's some definite misses. So now we get into replayability.
Okay. I think it's there.
I think it's there, yes.
So again, this is intended as a family game. If you like this style of game, there's a reason to replay it.
Yes. The problem is that there is way too much luck involved. The biggest thing that was my biggest complaint was, okay, so I was playing the wizard. My colors were yellow and green. I never saw a chance to get a red. Yeah, there was some monsters that you could defeat and gain red, but they never popped up that they needed to be defeated with yellow and green, or yellow itself, or green itself. I could have killed things. The only thing I did is I killed 1 monster because I used a potion and got coins.
I was able to find red on my side once, but I never once saw yellow.
Yeah.
And I think, so we're just kind of blending this segment together. What do we like? What do we think other people like? What do we think they wouldn't like? Because this all really depends. If you like high randomness,
Yeah.
and if you like being mean, because this game
Is mean.
needs you to be mean to win.
Because I literally remember my first turn, I placed a trap on one exit. You did a thing. Which
I got a dragon on the next one.
I played the dragon. It was you placed the chocolate golem.
That's right. That's right.
It was trap in one exit, chocolate golem, and then the dragon. The dragon, you have to have 2 of every single symbol.
And we had personal quests that we literally never saw what we needed for it.
Yeah, you need to defeat an Efreet, and the next card that was going to be an Efreet was 9 down.
Yeah.
And I needed the Skeledogs, and I had seen 2, and you had killed them both because they needed red to defeat.
Yep.
And I'm like,
It's not a long game.
it's not a long game.
There's that as a positive. The player abilities are unbalanced because just the rogue having a key ludicrously overpowered because once you have a key you can get through all the doors, but
And open
I
all the
stole both
chests.
the keys that came up.
Yep.
And so I scored 8 points off of that. I was able to pivot, and when I drew a card, I knew I can literally make this unattainable for Scott unless you made a giant workaround on the map. And by the time you did that, I just ran out. And once somebody runs out, you have a very limited time before you also have to get out.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're forced to pass. And if you're forced to pass, you're not doing anything, which means you've gotten nothing on that round.
Right.
And considering winning scores are in the like 10 to 15 range, missing any points is a big deal.
Yeah, you beat me by 7. It was 19 to 12, and all my points were coins.
Yeah.
And the one monster I beat.
I had everything through coins I picked up and the 2 treasure chests, yeah. If you like a game like Munchkin, I actually think this is really going to work for you.
Yeah.
Because it is get in each other's way, be mean, cut people off. Because technically, if you do it right, there's a very realistic chance that you could prevent anybody from taking any move if you go out first.
Yeah, and that's the one thing we didn't talk about. One of the rules that is such a detriment, which I don't think should be a rule. I think there should be an addendum to it, is that if a player goes out, you can't follow them. Their choice of route blocks you from going that way. I think it would make much more sense of, I just don't get any rewards.
Well, and here's the one thing that I didn't tell you, because I knew you were never going to pick the Barbarian. The Barbarian's ability legitimately does not make sense, because he can break a door or a wall.
By spending a token.
But I don't know if it's on the exit or when it's playing it, because if it's on the exit, it doesn't matter that he broke a wall because you can't go through there most likely. Yeah. It just...
Yeah.
If you like Munchkin,
yes.
If you like those light, get in each other's way type of games, if you don't mind meanness, if you don't mind randomness, if you just want to play the cards and put them down and look at the art, there's a solid game there. But I would not sit there and play this with my kids, because you're going to make your kids really upset if you sit there and be like, oh, I'm going to go this way and take all these coins, and now you can't get over to the monsters that you can attack. It's a way meaner game than what you expect it to be.
Yeah, and if you do not like take that games, do not get this game.
Do not play this one. No.
Yeah, and it's way too much luck. And we saw so many cards, and still, when you do the cards that you do collect, you do remove them, but that means we still only removed between the two of us, even at max was only 20 cards.
Something like that, yeah.
And like there's
90, I think.
There's 90 cards. And the fact that we removed 20 cards and you still never saw your monster that you needed. And I never had a chance to pick up red so that I could do anything with it.
And that's the other thing, is that my special ability allowed me to destroy a monster. And it counted as being defeated so I would take it.
Yeah, and so you got to upgrade your character. All I got to do was rotate a room once.
You did it twice, but it's not great.
But once per round.
Well, so is mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's...
I get nothing. Yeah, there's no other benefit.
Yeah, no.
So unfortunately, there is no solo mode in this game, so we can't talk about that. Do you have any recommendations?
Like I said, I think Munchkin is a right way to go there. I think Paper Dungeons does what this does better, and it does give you that solo mode. And honestly, those old school D&D games of Wrath of Ashardalon, Castle Ravenloft, and the Legend of Drizzt ones, those games all feel like what this one is trying to be. Now, all those D&D games are much heavier. They're a lot longer. They're all the things. But if you want build a map and explore through and try to get out, I think those are useful recommendations. Like I said, I actively dislike Paper Dungeons. Mm-hmm. You have a much stronger opinion on it, but it gives me that feel of what it's trying to do. Paper Dungeons just does it more successfully.
Yeah, I definitely think that Paper Dungeons does what this is trying to do much more successful. But if you're trying to go for a game because you're like, oh, this is for kids, it's not for kids. Honestly, if you want to teach, the simplistic things of like a flip and write or a roll and write, honestly, one of my favorites that I do almost every day, Cartographers, I think is a great way to start. There are other games that does what this tries to do and does it much better.
Honestly, on that, you just popped another one in my head. I think Cartagena is another one, if you're going to use for kids, probably a better idea because the path is laid out already and it's just choosing how you're going to do it. Cartagena, unfortunately, is kind of a boring game, but ultimately, I think it actually works for kids and I think it does what this is trying to do better.
Any final thoughts?
We've beaten the thing up. I'm just going to come out and say it's a 2. I actively dislike the game. It is mean. It's random. There's no way to mitigate anything. I don't like games like this. And when you look at that box and when you look at the rule set, it does not lead you to believe it is going to be as aggressively both those things. It says, hey, you have 2 extra tokens, 2 extra paw tokens, that if you find the raccoon, and there's a handful of the raccoons in the deck, you can get extra tokens. We don't ever close to seeing one of those come up in our games.
Yeah, and there's only 2 of them.
There's only 2?
Yeah, I went through the whole deck. There's 2 of them.
Jeez. So there's
or maybe
all these
3.
So there's all these components that you'll never see.
Right.
In a game that has almost no components. It's very weird. I don't like this one.
Yeah, for me, this is also a 2. I don't mind take that. I don't mind randomness. I enjoy randomness. This isn't fun. This is just plain straight up isn't fun. Well, folks, thank you so much for sitting with us as we were talking about Hobby World's game Tales of Tales. If you have an opinion or you want us to talk a little bit more about the reason why we gave the review that we gave, you know how to hit us up on our socials.
And just as importantly, if you like this, let us know why.
Yeah.
Let us know where you think we went wrong on this. There are plenty of opinions out there. Yep. There are so many games for so many different people. And frankly, we're just 2 people that have the opinion on this. If this is your jam, go nuts. We do not enjoy doing negative reviews.
No.
And so this one was rough to do. But if you like it, I hope you do.
Yeah, and please do let us know because we're human. We like to learn, and maybe there's something that we missed. So do let us know, and we hope that you listen to us again on our next review.